Right. So, I'm a simple man.
You're a simple man, Wooly. Why are you a simple man? Well, no,
Um,
why is not important. How are you a simple man?
I see some unexpected witch abs coming my way, and nosebleeds start happening. I was already talking about how Hades originally had just gorgeous nonstop, just oozing simps left and right, all over their character designs because they're gods and goddesses, and that makes sense.
These are the
And
Greek gods and or pantheon. They're supposed to be attractive.
5 minutes into Hades 2, and they're just hitting you with Hecate and Nemesis, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you know,
Hecate in
man,
particular has the
oh,
bonus of being voiced by Amelia Tyler, who you may recognize as the narrator of Baldur's Gate 3.
right.
And it has I have a genuine feeling that we're going to be hearing, because she's doing like cool, sexy British lady voice. I have a strong suspicion we're going to be hearing a lot of Amelia Tyler over the next couple of years.
I mean, it's fun to go talk to Dad and watch him shit on you in Hades originally, and every time you roll back through, he's got some frowning disapproval, for you. But to just replace that with roundabout over to this like Rosa with abs ass boss witch bitch lady, like I'm like, yes, absolutely, please, let's go. I'm down for that to be the regular thing. And then you get your Dusa too, which is just a little Spooky's jump scare mansion character.
Yeah, like
you know?
Dora the. So we're talking about Hades too, by the way.
Hades 2. Yeah. Um,
Um,
I'm curious because I know your deal, and your deal is some long redheaded pigtails show up and an eyebrow is raised. When's the last time like you got hit with nosebleed action mid right on stream in
oh
game,
man, I don't know.
right?
Honestly, have you met Doom in Hades 2 yet?
No, not yet.
Moros in Hades 2 shows up on screen with no shirt, and I just like yelled out like, "Yo, I'm gonna suck that dude's dick!" Like it's like upsetting. It's very upsetting.
I haven't seen yet.
You just pull the
Oh
fucking.
man, yeah, okay. I can I can imagine. I mean, seeing some of the old faves coming back around, it's like, how did you take? What's this? Oh yeah. I saw. Yeah, I saw him. I saw him. Yeah. No, so it's the you got the long-haired like beautiful man, but then you've got the antlers. And instead of just doing the thing where the antlers stick out and the hair drops, you've got the hair flowing like a veil hanging from the antlers for that extra level of like je ne sais quoi. Yeah, absolutely. No, I was straight up. I'm like, how you gonna take a naked lady and somehow improve on that? Like, she's already naked. There's not much else to it.
That Aphrodite is like more naked.
And
because her pose is like more open.
She's more exactly, and you took the Ares eye strip, and then you gave her the shield and the spear, and you're like, yeah. By having a little bit of like just an eye thing and a couple things in your hands, you're now even more naked, right? It's the difference between wearing nothing and wearing something that is like framing the action.
Okay,
you know.
Before we talk about Hades 2, I have to ask you, where are you at in Hades 2?
I just did one quick sesh. I just wanted to touch the surface because I know that I still have to work on my Hades 1 runs, which I have been doing.
I meant in proximity, like
so I met. Yeah. So what happened was I beat Hecate. Hecate. I'm trying to get.
Who is way easier than Meg was.
I took maybe 2 or 3 out her. I forget. I think it was 2. but Hecate. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and basically stopped right after that point.
Okay. So, like a lot of the stuff that I want to talk about Hades 2 is like structural. But I don't know where you fall on like spoiler stuff of like I want to talk about the nature of the second boss
Okay.
and the third area
Okay.
and whatnot. And I
Uh,
don't know where we fallen on this.
okay. So I like so you start the game and I walked up and looked at a picture that is like humongous. What are you gonna do? Level spoiler. And that's like fair. I know what I walked into. I booted up the second game and I was destined to encounter something like that. So you look.
Oh yeah. Oh, the painting of the family. Yeah.
It
Okay.
says there's a picture that there's a button that says brood, and you brood and stare at a photo, and that photo is big old Hades one. Spoilers for the multi.
I was
attempts
playing
beating
it and somebody said, "Hey man, should I play Hades 1 before I play Hades 2?" And I was like, "I don't know, they're like different games." And then I was like, I did a second stream of it and was halfway through and started to encounter some shit that I was like, "Boy, you should fucking play Hades 1 before playing this game."
Yeah. And that's that's what I spent some time doing actually. I'm working on getting through that. So what I would say is, I mean, look, I've decided a long time ago that especially after the amount of shit I've gotten about how me and spoilers and stuff. A couple years back, I decided I'm like, all right, I give up. So I'm just not gonna,
I want to be polite, but I also want to describe like compare and contrast.
So what I would say is what I prefer is without going into like the specifics of plot details, if you're talking about mechanics of like the second boss.
I want to talk about one boss, and I want to talk about the mechanical layout of the game structure.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. So the game so you saw this. I'm sure you saw this when you started, and it's the most interesting thing you can possibly see when you start the game. Is that right next to the spot where you can go down to start your run, there's a fucking staircase that says go up.
Yeah, and I tried and it said nah.
And it says nah. Right? So I go, okay, so we'll go down. And when you go down, you are doing a 4-act like level structure, just like Hades 1. One down, one down, one down, one down, which will find a fight with Kronos. And then you beat Kronos, and then you loop around, and then you unlock darkness, which is heat from the first game to do your bonus runs, right? So going down is the same structure. It's pretty much exactly the same, with one major difference, and it feels that the areas they added this time around are direct counterpoints to the problems people had with Hades 1's areas.
And what problems would those be?
So, Asphodel's lava was pretty annoying as a standard feature,
right?
And Elysium was I hated Elysium. I hated Elysium so goddamn much. Where the armored guys would then pop out the goddamn armored eyeballs. So there's a similar enemy type that you kill them and they pop out an eyeball, but the eyeball's just a bomb.
Okay.
Like it doesn't regenerate. And shielded enemies are rare.
Oh, those fuckers sucked. Yeah.
They're very, very rare.
Yeah.
And the Temple of Styx in the Hades 1 was really small and not super interesting to me. Like Asphodel and Tartarus were my favorite zones, which sucks because they're the first two. So they've gone the other way.
Are you talking about Erebus?
No, I'm talking in Hades 1, the Temple of the Styx, where you fought the rats in the satyrs.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Right. It was super fucking small, and it was just like tiny little rooms.
Yeah, a little challenge room to get the stuff for Cerberus.
The areas in Hades 2 seem like direct counters to that. So like a really good example is, do you remember getting hit by the pillars in Tartarus because you weren't paying attention? You were hitting a guy and then the pillar would drop the rocks on top of you.
Yeah, or like one of the like stage hazards.
Yeah. So
traps,
now, so a lot of the colors are inverted also. So like we went from like red as the primary color to like green as the primary color with like purple as an accent for Erebus.
Okay.
But regardless, now the trees are the new columns, but the trees always explode outwards.
Okay.
So you attack a tree and it pops outwards like an explosion instead of throwing enemies into it.
Okay.
Like the columns.
It's interesting to note the things that like you're like the lava being annoying and the shielded enemies and the ghosts and stuff, because I'm like,
I fucking hate Elysium so much.
So those things were annoying, but like I just kind of internalized them as like, yeah, because the game's hard. Right? Like, yeah. I just got so used to, like, you're going to need to find a different solution for this type of enemy with your build. Otherwise, too bad, you know? And even lava, it's like, okay, dash off of it whenever it starts to flash white. Mm-hmm. And, like, I took all of that to be, yeah, this game is trying to be fucking hard, you know?
So I also internalized that the same way. And like, well, that's how you make a game like this hard. Well, no, they've actually done it in a totally different way. In Hades 2. So the second area is an ocean. It's a water area, and it is filled with a shit ton of stage hazards and enemies that can live in the water, but you can't go onto the water. Like it's the opposite of the lava.
Okay.
Right. Like enemies are like not quite unreachable, but they're like hydras all over the place as like a regular enemy.
Mm-hmm.
But the third area. Sorry, what's that?
No, I was wondering because I was. But the falling pillars for a second, I was curious about like the ones that you drop on the enemies, are they're in when you use them against the enemy, but the stuff in Elysium that hits you is the spears, the arrows, and the lasers
all that
shoot
annoying
at
shit.
The traps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the third area is wide open space. Like it is a big field. Like it's still a discrete room, but it is like 10 times larger than the rooms you usually deal with, and it's combined doors. So you'll go up to like a door choice, and it instead of being like heart or boon, it'll be heart, money, and Aphrodite boon, or Poseidon boon, magic upgrade, money.
And you're getting all of the above.
Yeah, and you get all of them because the area is massive.
Okay.
And you have to traverse it and find where the upgrades are. And then when you click on them, a bunch of shit swarms on you. It feels like Diablo.
Okay, because you see, like, with a 1, whenever there was a big room, which Elysium had some large rooms, it didn't matter because you could just stand in spot and kill everything that was coming at you, and then afterwards dash to the end of the hallway that you didn't have to traverse, you know? There's like a room in particular that has a large open field by the front door, 2 big bridges, and then an open area at the back. And if you just stand right in the front door, everything comes and spawns on you and you just kill it there anyway.
Yeah, in the third area in Hades 2, there is it's enormous. It's like 5 screens stacked on top of each other. And you're like exploring around to find the upgrades before leaving. It's really, really interesting. And the fourth area, which would replace the Temple of Styx. So the Temple of Styx was like you have to find the sack.
Yeah, the Satyr sack.
To get past it and then leave, but you had to decide whether or not you wanted to keep going and get all the upgrades. In Hades 2, they've made that really simple. There's 2 doors. One is straight to the boss, and the other is you want an upgrade. And at the end of that area, it'll go, do you want to go straight to the boss or you want to get an upgrade? And that happens over and over and over and over. It's like, do you feel like you could beat the boss right now? No. Another challenge room for
boss
for
room
gear.
boss room challenge, and you choose until you can keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chronos is way harder than Hades was. Way harder than Hades was. I beat him, but I had a completely fucked build that would just heal me constantly the whole time. He's way harder.
So, I mean, the assumption is, of course, is that this is a challenge meant for people who are coming off of the first game's challenges, right? Plus multiple heat levels.
So it's not quite finished, but I think it actually has to do with going up. So the trick about going up is there's an entire like Hades 3 is going up.
What? Eh.
So going up is not like a one-off boss fight or something like that. It's a
Different
completely
path.
separate level structure
Oh,
with its own
fuck.
unique bosses and rules.
And progression.
Yeah, so when you get to the
Whoa.
when you go up top onto the surface, you get into like a gigantic city that acts like Temple of the Styx. And it basically says you can have 5 of these rooms, and there's like 10 different rooms before progressing onwards. And so you have to pick, like, okay, I have all these upgrades to choose from. Which ones do I actually want to do?
Interesting. Okay.
And then there's a second level on top. And then I can't beat the boss up there. I can't. They're so fucking strong. But the top isn't finished.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 8 levels probably eventually. There are currently 6.
So I'm very okay just like lightly scraping a little bit here and there, being knowing how early access is going to go with this, and knowing that, you know, going all in is I'm gonna hit that wall or lose my save. So I'm gonna try to just see if I can play this. I'm gonna see if I can treat this game a little differently, right?
Yeah.
Like it's good enough that as soon as I'm done with Hades 1, I'm gonna want to go hard on 2, but I know that leads me to the same wall every time. So I'm just gonna have to ignore it for a while.
I beat Kronos on the bottom, and that was brutal, and can't even come close to the boss on the top.
Interesting.
Like not like I was a child, like just absolutely stomped me. And I believe the eventual progression is you're gonna be going ping-ponging between the two. Because you get tons, like you get way more like mechanical upgrades from the cauldron this time around. So like you'll get everything from the ability to grow food to get bats to show up to help you navigate enemies, navigate areas.
Did they
to all sorts of zany shit?
So far everything in the cauldron seems to be pretty useful. Something I have to say I hated about the first one is how many pages of the contractor were just cosmetic, like
It
useless.
was astonishing.
And like
Astonishing how much of it was just.
And I realized there's one point that got useful where one of the fate achievements was get the contractors to do up to 30 jobs. So I'm like, the cheapest quick jobs will be easy for getting that out. But there were still pages and pages of completely meaningless minor cosmetic things, and like some of the significant ones were worked into that list. And it was just a weird way to do it. Like, why not have 2 completely separate, you know? Anyway.
Yeah, right now, there's no cosmetics that I can find, really. And every upgrade is some kind of mechanical change. I want aspects for my weapons, or I want to unlock a new thing on the training room, or I want the ability to not instantly die when I go to the surface, or I want to unlock animal companions.
Have you so far gotten to a point where you have, I guess, as much as you had with Zagreus by the end of 1?
No, because the Arcana system is different. So, upgrading. So there's the 2. There's the you unlock the cards, and unlocking the cards is your abilities. But then you have to unlock the grasp, which is how many of those abilities you can actually run at once. I don't know what the cap is on grasp. I have 24.
Okay.
Which is enough to unlock equip like 8 cards.
Do you enjoy mechanical obtuseness, like when the end goal is like for example, grasp? The point of the grasp is you can pick and choose between some strong abilities, but balance it out so that the strongest can't be all shoved into your build. You're going to have to balance some weak, some strong, or a smaller amount of stronger things. Do you like, yeah, like it's because I feel like some board games, when I've talked about like the more complex ones, some people like really enjoy that and lean into it when you have like multiple aspects of that to figure out. I personally don't. So with Grasp and with the expanding of the board and stuff, like I kind of it doesn't have to be as simple as the mirror, which is an on-off switch and then dump into the stat. I like the look. I like how the cards unfold and you pick where to go next on that. That's cool.
Yeah. So,
but it took me a fucking minute to grasp what Grasp was. It was a little too.
It's how many slots do you got? All right. I'm being told that it caps at 30, which means you can't run every card on there.
Yeah.
And not only can you not run every card, I don't know if how many you unlocked during your time, but there's 0 cost cards.
That's where I got confused, right?
Okay,
because I understand it now, but
super interesting.
Mm-hmm. You have
they're free,
but you have to unlock the requirement, which in the case that I had was you must have an activated card of 1 point, 2 points, 3, 4, 5, and 5 all active. At which point the 0 cost card can be activated, but you still have a cost of purchasing it before that, separate from the activation requirement.
So also some of those 0 costs are mutually exclusive. So like there's one of the 0 costs that is like gives you 6% dodge naturally. You're like, oh, that's nice. And the way that you have that is to not have more than more than 2 overlapping costs. So like you can't have 2 5s.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, 3 of a kind.
So
you can't have 3 of a kind.
So each of these 0 cost cards is going to have.
Oh, sorry, I have it backwards. You have to have 3 of a kind. So you have to have 3 1s,
right,
or 3 2s.
So each of these 0 cost cards is going to have its purchase cost and then its activation cost.
Yeah, but they don't cost Grasp.
No, but not spending.
Free.
Yes.
So here's the thing though.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's the fun one. There's a different 0 cost card which increases the likelihood of duo boons, which is really good. And that one is you can't have more than 2 of each. So you can't have those 2 cards simultaneously. So you have to choose between dodge.
So it forces one or the
duo
other.
boons.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out how they
go.
So
I'm seeing this is a Woolie problem, and if this is a Woolie problem, then I guess it is. Then I guess I have, because this is like I just you can make the most interesting parts of this, which is like fit your points into your small thing, your groove, your your thought cabinet, whatever you want to call it. You can do that. But like it's these extra, like there's a lot going on with what we just described there that is like it's not explained that well right now as well either.
No. I got my handle on it at around hour 5 or 6. So I would say like, hey, look at an ability. Do you like that ability? Slot it in. Always go for Grasp because building more slots is expensive. And just, do you see an ability that you always want? Get it and keep it in there. So there's an ability in that deck called the Unseen. And the Unseen gives you 2 magic points a second forever with no requirements. That thing is never coming off my character.
Okay.
Because it means you can use as much magic as you fucking want.
Well, the thing is that what I'm still getting used to is how valuable magic even is to begin with. Right? Because that's a new thing. The game now has a cost behind doing charged attacks, which is you're spending mana. And
so you refill the full bar per room.
But once it's gone, if you don't have anything on your build that replenishes it, then too bad, right? So that's where I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. Does that mean because these are limited in cost that that charge attacks are now amazing compared to what they're used
really
to be?
Good,
right? Yeah. And so that's what I'm learning about. And then secondly, like, and that's like, I can take it or leave it either way. That's fine. I'm not in love with that, but I definitely ignored in Hades 1, I really ignored casting with the orbs, and I would use Sometimes when I had a good one, but there's a lot of times
So
I
they
wasn't
know
thinking
that.
about it.
They know lots of people ignored call because call took forever to charge.
Yeah.
Right. So in Hades 2, right next to the unseen is another ability that fills your call with the equivalent of 3 MP a second
Okay. Okay.
forever.
Okay.
So I run both of those, which means I can cast as much magic as I want, and my meter is building in the background anyway, so I use my call all the time.
Okay. So, because as far as I feel, like, jury's out on the mana bar. It seems like it can be pretty useful, but like, but depending on if you don't get a regen for it, then that might be bad for your run if you get unlucky. Um,
Well,
and
I'm going to stop you right now. I'm going to stop you right now for a second because the mana bar is super interesting because I was like, why would you ever not have the regenerate mana? Right? Why would you ever not have the ability to just use magic as much as I want? There are some boons that activate when your mana
yes.
is like at 0.
Oh yeah, there was one that was like when you're below 30, this will happen. I saw.
Yeah, Zeus will hit you with lightning.
Yeah, there's something I didn't choose, but it said when you're low mana, good, right? There was one that was when your mana is not at full, you get 30% extra damage on everything, right? So there are literally cases for high and low mana. All of that, again, I'll have to see and play more to see like whether or not that feels like it's worth it or not. What's immediately incredible and I fucking love is sprinting and the idea that you can attach new boons to sprinting. That was so good.
Some of those so Aphrodite's not a boon, right? She's not in the game. So Aphrodite's incredible dash move is not there. And also Melinoe can't double dash. She just can't.
Oh,
like Zag could.
I'm like Hermes is gonna show up and drop one of them. And no,
I meant Athena. What did I say?
You said Aphrodite, who is naked and super in the game.
Sorry. Athena is not in the game, or at least not haven't found her. Her reflective dash isn't there.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Shield dash. Yeah.
And Melinoe, her dash is slower than Zag's, but it is fully invincible as soon as you hit the button. But so like I mean, you remember getting Hermes like extra dashes, and you'd have like 4 dashes,
triple dash, maybe,
and you just be like, right? So I'm like, how good can the fucking sprint abilities be? They're
the best,
crazy.
Yeah. So I got Poseidon sprint, which is just a wave of water rushes out from you, and it's like, oh, this is a better version of like, because you could do like dash things with like dash and like in Hades 1, Demeter had the frost cloud that would shoot out or whatever. Now you're just killing small enemies by sprinting into them and running in circles.
So the Zeus one fires off 4 lightning bolts a second as you run past enemies. And if you have the Zeus status effect, it just starts to proc on everything. But the craziest one that I have found is Hestia's dash ability is run making, because Hestia's sprint ability just deletes enemy projectiles near your character.
Oh yeah, I got that one. I got that in a run. Yes, the fire, and then you see that first mid boss that just kind of like drops in and you have to run in a circle around it.
It just dies.
All of the projectiles go away. Incredible, super duper good. Yeah.
And so one of the things that happened in Hades 1, you would get like certain abilities that like build up a dot or whatever, and they would just last forever. For Zeus and for Hestia and for the bosses that build up stacks, if you have the status or stack building one, you can then unlock a boon that cashes out the stack. So like Hestia has one where if you hit 300 Scorch, it just pops.
Yeah. That's that Darkest Dungeon shit where you can build up bleed, burn, and blight, and then you have an ability that says take all of the 4 turns of that damage right now. I love that.
Also, so like I was like a little annoyed because like I really liked Ares. I thought Ares's boons were fucking incredible, and I love them.
The spinning blades.
No, the Doom
Doom
effect.
stuff. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh no, that's gone. No, it's not. It's not gone. They just incorporated some of the old gods into existing ones. So Zeus's shocked status is Ares's doom. His blitz status is Ares's doom. It's like, hey, you put a thundercloud over somebody's head with an attack or something, and then when they take 100 something damage, the lightning bolt hits them for 120 damage.
Okay. Some of those dot abilities I definitely didn't lean into. Like Doom I didn't go for much because the ones that I preferred were like, because either like that or like Charm had its uses as well sometimes. The Drunken one was okay, but it felt like the most useful were things like Shock, where it was like when they attack they take damage, clear, obvious, right? The Freeze, it slows them down. But like some of the others were just like, this is a poison, but the rates that the poison drops at are going to be a little bit confusing compared to other colored poison. There was like 3 of them that were just poison at different rates, you know?
That reminds me that Demeter has been inverted from the way that she used to work. So Demeter you used to build up stacks of freeze until somebody got frozen in place. Now it's you hit someone and they freeze on hit number 1, and then there's a cooldown for when it can proc again.
Okay. Yeah, there was, because Demeter had the like they turn a little bit blue, you know, and then like they start to get a little bit slower.
The game seems to offer a lot more fucking busted shit right away. The one run that I won, the run that I beat Kronos, Apollo and Hestia gave me a duo boon that made the run like unlosable, because it was, if I don't use attack, and like special and cast are okay, but if I don't hit the attack button for 1 second, I heal, I think it's 3 or 4 HP a second until my health is full.
That's incredible.
But when you get that boon, it removes 100 life off you.
Yeah.
So I went from 200 to 100. So when I was fighting Kronos and he would hit me, I would just start to run around until I healed up completely.
Incredible. Apollo was what's theme of attack again? Was it
area? Apollo makes your moves bigger.
Okay.
Like way bigger.
Okay, because like
also extra damage.
Because it was light, right? It was.
Yeah.
Okay, because I got a couple off of him, but I haven't fully.
So like one of Apollo's is like your cast on the full floor gets bigger and bigger and bigger the whole time.
Has casting been improved at all, or like have they?
Cast is so much better. So Hades is. Zag's cast was a projectile. And it had a couple of effects, but the best thing you could ever do is get the upgrade that made it so that when your cast was stuck in someone, they took more damage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you go cast, and beat on them, and then they would fall out. There were some fringe casts that were really good. I think there was one where your cast sitting on the floor with like pulse damage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because cast is now get off me.
Okay. There we go.
So when you drop that circle, it's impassable to enemies.
Okay. Because I remember the charged cast had the big circle, and then the hands would go up and do some
it hurts anybody
damage.
inside.
Yeah. But that my main problem is by the time you're getting to the end of Hades 1, like a typical example of a run-winning build I would have would be one where it was like, okay, on dash, I'm creating an Ares spiral blade, and I'm also doing, like, I have 3 dashes, and they're all, I have the spear, it's been hammered into the dash attack now hits like 3 times, right? And then like that'll be buffed up for major explosive damage, lightning, whatever you call it. And so your whole goal is to dash and slash in circles around whatever you're trying to kill, and then as soon as it does something threatening, get away and then get back in. I don't have time to stand there and go and throw the diamonds at you and lodge them in. It just never made sense for the DPS I could optimize, with the best abilities I had.
The cast always gave you like a 10% damage boost if they were inside. Demeter's cast was really good because they became little turrets that would just attack people.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, a typical winning run strategy that I had in Hades 1 was the first thing I wanted to do was get anyone who did a status effect on my attack. And then the second thing that I wanted to do was get anybody who did a status effect on my dash. So you could get like the 40% extra damage for somebody who had 2 statuses on them. And then just go from there. What do you call it? That upgrade still exists in Hades 2, where you do extra damage if somebody has 2 statuses on them, but statuses themselves are rarer.
Okay. Now
it's not as guaranteed that you're going to get 2 different statuses by the end of your run.
Another really good use for cast wall. I have to still go spend my Titan blood to unlock it, but the aspect of the bow and arrow that was load the cast into your arrow.
Yeah, that's the best bow and arrow. By the way,
that makes perfect. Like that is what I'm talking about. Let me use it like that.
Because the cast effects still proc inside
on the regular
the bow.
attack. That's incredible. Yeah.
So the Millenoway's cast lets you do a lot of really fun stuff. So just like the sprint, because it's now a big area denial, it gets to do all sorts of silly shit. Apollo's makes your cast so huge that enemies often get trapped against the wall and can't move at all. Hestia's cast just constantly Hestia and Zeus's casts can just constantly proc their effects over and over and over and over on people that are trapped in there. But by far the coolest cast is Hera's. Hera is in the game, and her mechanic is called Hitch, because she's the goddess of marriage. And her cast lasts for like 15 to 20 seconds and is super huge. Like it blocks a massive area. And what it does is it does random amounts of damage to enemies spawning into the fight.
Random.
Yeah, between 1 and 999.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So the idea with Hera is to have cast on the floor permanently, and enemies that spawn in on wave 2, 3, and 4 can sometimes just explode and die, or almost die. It's great.
So when you're talking about the expanded,
that's a different thing. Oh, my mistake. It's flat. Wait, that's Medea's boon from the surface. Is it? Oh, sorry. I forgot there was an upgrade. God, there's so many fucking characters in it now.
I mean,
it's hard to keep track.
In fact, the only thing that seems to be missing is the chapter titles, where the little Hades talking shit to you with the whatever this chapter you're in is.
There's also a thing that happens is when you die, Millenoway will be like, "Get out of my head," but she's referencing dialogue that doesn't exist.
Interesting.
Because sometimes Cronus will talk shit when you die.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that what's cool. I do like that the concept of dying is actually like stop, time, rewind.
Fuck,
didn't do it.
Can I hit the soft reset, please?
Yeah. Quick save state. No, so I guess when you're thinking of the giant area with Apollo or so, is it comparable to Thanatos? Has this big
it's like that, but it's get out
death circle. Okay, that type of shit. Interesting.
There's so much like structural interest here. So like I did pretty well on my first couple of runs. Like I think I got to Oceanus like on, I don't know what it was, like run 3 maybe. And did you meet Eris when you got there?
I don't think so.
So if you do well enough, like, and start to burn through, you run into, oh, I did it on run 1. Cool. Woo. So when you do well enough on your first run, the game
You mentioned
is like, I'm going
the
to stop
limiter.
you.
Yeah. You mentioned.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because it's going to stop you. Like, the ability to speed run the game on the first try is basically going to revolve down to like no hit runs.
Yeah, I have like massively different quality runs based on the weapon I'm using. Like, it's crazy the difference between like I've pretty much like used the fists, the spear, bow and arrow, railgun. Yeah,
Here was my favorite.
but like for a while I was like I want the shield to work, but I just like I'm having a hard time with it. What recently is working for me is like the ability to the aspect of the shield that lets you like have a spinning blade out the whole time.
That was my favorite.
That one's good. That's good because I'm like, all right, let's find a way to buff that special so that it'll keep doing damage. But yeah, I just kind of never really went back to the sword. There's a couple weapons that I'm just like, I don't know that I'm going to come back to this. So with these like new sets of weapons now, like, do you feel like it's a similar thing to that?
So the game is really far along and it's really impressive. And then you go through the full weapon list and you're like, some of these weapons, not 100% there. So the staff is a really good, basic, generalized, like, melee weapon, like Zag's sword. The knives are directly replacing the fists.
Got the knives, yeah.
The torch is the third one, and they are terrible.
Oh.
And I don't just mean like not strong. I mean, they feel like shit to use. Everything about the weapons concept. So that is you throw little fireballs constantly, and if you hold the button for long enough, eventually you start throwing stronger fireballs that use mana. And the movement and the timing and it feels like shit. It feels really bad. I foresee the torches getting like significantly reworked.
Okay.
Then you get the axe, and the axe is like the best weapon across both games.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for big limited, big number. Swing once.
Axe is so fucking awesome. So did you ever unlock Excalibur for Zagreus' sword?
Is that the fourth aspect?
It's the final aspect of the sword, the one that's okay. So the axe is Asterius's combo from fucking the Elysium boss fight.
Oh, the big
right.
Yeah. The big one. Yeah.
And when you hold it, you get a spin similar to the spear.
Okay.
And hitting triangle or Y blocks shit in front of you. It's a full shield until the cast goes off, like the magic, and then it becomes like this massive like power geyser down the road.
Does it do the Asterius, the tracking overhead flying swing at the end too?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
wow. Wow. Okay. Sick.
It's awesome. It does so much goddamn damage. It is so slow.
Perfect.
It is so fucking slow. It's crazy.
That's great. I have no problem with that. Yep.
And then the last weapon that's currently available is the skull, which is a grenade launcher.
The special on the railgun?
Yeah, so the skull is Zagreus's cast. Turn into a weapon.
Okay.
Because you fire the skull and there's a big explosion.
Okay.
And then you have to pick the skull back up. Like Zagreus, and it has the little circle go around it, and it comes back to you.
Okay. I'll have to see.
The skull is crazy good. Because it's the difference is it's your primary weapon instead of your cast. So I had the skull, and I had it so that what was it? When you leave the skull on the ground, like, and don't pick it up, it every 2 seconds it pops a little
Oh,
burst of Hestia
oh, that
Scorch.
okay. You can find ways to make leaving it down useful. Great, that sounds
So
cool.
I'm
Hell yeah.
fighting the second, I think the second mini boss,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just throwing. No, it was the third mini boss, and I was throwing the skulls down and leaving them there
Okay.
on top of the enemy, and the Scorch on that fucking mini boss hit like 1900,
Okay.
and then I just waited until the fucking boss died.
Yeah. So I've noticed that there are times when I can take out like so. For example, I was saying like I was not meshing with the shield that much because well, there are times where it'd be like, okay, you can do the charging star, but I'm like, I probably based on what I've gotten for a couple of my builds will do more damage by just dashing and doing a dash attack again just in circles around the enemy. At which point, if I'm doing that, I might as well pick something else with a better dash attack, whatever. But then you get like a Daedalus Hammer upgrade that's like when you do the charging star, you do 400% damage on anything armored. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
now we have a build.
Oh man, I got specials on 2 different occasions that were your special does 80% damage to armor.
Now we're talking. Yes. I don't care what the weapon
armor is just like
yes.
in this run.
I will take anything that can do an armor deletion and build my whole game around that. Awesome. Okay. And I guess too as well, the other thing that affects runs greatly is your accessory, the rings, right, and stuff.
Yeah. They're better than they were, because it used to be like I don't know if you actually got to use one of the rings.
No.
I
got no, wait, no, that's not true. I gave nectar to a Hecate, and she gave me something.
Okay, so like I mean the boon rings specifically.
Okay.
Because that's like half of the total accessories is like
No,
Zeus
it was
Poseidon.
Nemesis. Sorry. It was Nemesis, and it was whatever you get killed by. You have a Nemesis system against that thing.
That
so
one
good.
That one is great if you're making it to Kronos reliably.
That's awesome. Actual Nemesis system.
I mean the boon rings, which is like half of all of the talismans, was like Zeus's thing and Poseidon's thing. So they were I liked them in the first game because you could be like, I very much would like to start this run with a rare Zeus boon, right? But the way that it works now is that the first time you get a boon, it will be the appropriate god that you picked. And as you upgrade them, you get the ability to choose one of the boons you're looking at and upgrade its rarity. So like I'm guaranteed gonna get Zeus.
Yeah.
But if they're all blue, I can go to the one that I really want and make it purple.
Okay. Nice.
And like now I'm sure I'm getting a good start.
You're getting the line you're looking for. Yeah. Can you do that to pull in gods that only show up later in other areas? So for example,
no, because you only get the item from gifting them the nectar.
But like at that point, can you bring them earlier into the zones? For example, like Hermes, you only get Hermes after.
Once you meet Hermes, he'll just show up right at the beginning.
And you do your so
you can only get Hera after going to the surface, but once you've met her, she'll just start showing up all over the place.
Okay. Sick.
So Nemesis is really interesting, not from a story perspective. She's very interesting from a story perspective in that she's not tsundere. She's just awful. She's just really mean.
So I've only encountered her being kind of mean to you from the lines we've had. And she was one of the aspects of the sword, right? In Hades 1.
Yeah, and she has Zagreus's Nemesis aspect in her hand.
Yeah.
She's awful. She is like a massive hater.
Okay. She hasn't been irredeemably mean in my run so far. She's just been she's been a hater. Yeah.
So get ready for this. She replaces Thanatos as encounter to run into on the field. Right?
Fuck yes.
Unlike Thanatos, she has a wide variety of things that she can do. So one of the things she can do is she's like, I'll give you money if you let me hit you. And you have to survive the hit.
Oh, toxic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The other
okay.
one is she'll steal the room's upgrade and only give it back to you if you can do enough damage in one hit.
Wow. Okay.
She'll fight you to you'll get to a room and she'll say, okay, whoever kills the most enemies in this room gets 100 gold, but she'll take 100 gold from you if you lose.
Okay. So mechanically, she is a variety of hater ass hates.
So this isn't even the best part, because this is the part that will make you like actually strongly dislike this character. After all of these, you can run into her in a battle room. You can run into her at Karen's shop. If you do the little thing, she goes, here's your gold. If you wait like 2 seconds for her to leave, she'll pick any door she wants and take it. She has stolen Daedalus hammers out of the shop in front of me.
Wait, if you don't act first, she will take it. She shops and walks through a door.
Yeah,
and you cannot follow.
So she has stolen boons. Like you'll have like a Aphrodite boon door and like a money door, and she'll take the boon door, and now it's taken.
And you can't follow.
And she'll buy shit out of Karen's shop in front of you.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So like she took a hammer out of my run.
That's amazing.
And I was like, oh my fucking God, you asshole.
Oh, fuck. That's good. Because Thanatos was like legitimately chill once the bickering stopped, you know?
Yeah, it was only benefits.
It was business. Yeah. Wow. Okay. What an interesting wrench to throw into the works there.
Yeah, she'll even take chaos gates.
Whoa, and deny you the ability. Wow. Yeah. It sounds like a PvP system, almost introduced in that way.
Yeah. Oh, she's awful. Oh, she's terrible.
She's great.
It's really interesting to run into her because it's just a dice roll and a problem.
I can fix her, but why would I want to?
She doesn't want to be fixed.
There is nothing to fix. Fuck that.
Also, like, she's the avatar of antagonistic hatred, so it makes sense that everything she does annoys you and causes problems.
Nemesis. Yes, correct. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no, the game's great. It's definitely not done. Like there is more stuff in it right now than Hades has right now.
And Ulysses is your Achilles too, right?
Odysseus.
Yeah, the Roman guy. Yes, right.
I only correct because they literally just say all.
No, they do. I because I said that earlier because in school we read the Iliad, and I remember Ulysses, and we watched it and went into that. So like I have that first and foremost in the front of my brain, and then afterwards it was like, oh, by the way, there's also Odysseus, the other name that was the reference made in the Greek version of things. But because of how I learned it in school, Ulysses comes to my brain first.
Have you seen Kronos?
No.
Okay, so Kronos shows up like super early. Like he starts to talk to you all the time from like run 3 or 4 onwards. Like when you get to that first little pit stop, he's often like right there to talk shit at you on your way up.
Interesting.
Because you don't get to talk to Hades in the hall. And he also represents a form of mechanical like structural change in that he only did this to me once. But he can teleport you to the wrong zone. He teleported me to Asphodel, which is not otherwise in the game.
Whoa. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Are the implications that Hades 1 is right over there?
Yeah, they even talk about how you have to figure out how to get
Oh
around the
shit!
Hades 1 areas.
Oh fuck! That's
Um,
nuts.
and also, I'm gonna send you a picture of him because he looks great. There's a lot of details to Kronos's design that are not what I expected, but I absolutely love it. So are you familiar with the bullshit that the Greeks told the Egyptians when the Greeks started like running Egypt with Ptolemy and all that shit?
Probably not.
So they told them, yeah, by the way, our gods are the same gods as your gods. We just know them by different names. And then they did like a mythological transubstantiation
Fusion.
of like, oh, it's actually the same religion,
Oh,
right?
like Constantine did. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So
Right.
when you get to Kronos in Hades 2, and he's
Huh.
Egyptian because he's the father of the
Huh.
Greek pantheon, and he's got Anubis fucking wings.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. See, I was wondering. I guess because I'm remembering how Chaos looked in Hades 1, and I was like, are they going to split the difference between how Chaos looks so different from the gods? You know, artistically.
They do. Again, by the way, Chaos looks different.
Awesome.
Here, let me pull it up. Chaos looks a lot. Some people don't like Chaos's new design. Personally, I fucking love Chaos's new design.
So
Think
I felt that with Zeus. Zeus's new artwork is not as good as his old artwork was, unfortunately.
here is new Chaos.
Whoa! Oh shit! Oh my god! All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
And Chaos
all
is
right,
holding
all right, that's
old
enough.
Chaos
That's enough.
in their
That's
head.
enough. That's enough. Fuck! That looks so sick. Oh!
See, I knew you'd like
All
it.
right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I will get there. God damn,
So
what a glow up.
there's the game has no ending currently. And the top side doesn't have some of its levels. And there's a weapon that's missing.
The white and gold suit. Oh.
Yeah, there's a weapon that's missing. There's only 3 aspects right now. That final aspect that turns it into a completely different weapon
The fourth aspect.
is not there yet. It's not done. There's a lot here. I beat Chaos and I got to the boss on the top side, and then I'm like, I'm gonna stop because I know the weapons are gonna get reworks.
Yeah.
What's a really cool detail? Nemesis isn't the only person walking around with Hades 1 weapons.
Oh, interesting.
Like the adamant rail is a boss fight now.
Yeah, so I mean, again, we're seeing like some of the characters that were just in aspect form, like like mentioned, like again, Hecate, right? Not Hecate. Fire.
Nemesis.
No, fire. The fire goddess, fire grandma,
Hestia?
Hestia was one of the rails aspects.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, aspect of Hestia was the third of those, so it is interesting kind of seeing those come out. But what is your, I guess, like save progress stopping point, if anything? Like, do you just have go hard and then restart? You don't mind?
Oh, no, I beat Kronos and uninstalled the game.
Okay, because so what I'm saying is, yeah, like with early access and all that's going to happen over time, how do you feel about like?
Yeah, I saw every level, unlocked every weapon, beat Kronos once, and went, okay, there is a lot of work remaining here to do. I got my taste of everything that's in it right now, but because I got to the point where I'm supposed to start running like heat runs.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't want to start running heat runs when the game is not finished.
Okay, so your limit is like run 1 and then unlock all like major branch of weapons and things.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got to try out a bunch of the aspects.
Fair enough.
I unlocked there's a challenge mode hidden in the game. So like Chaos will give you a fucking set of conditions, like beat this area with this weapon under these conditions to get you a different kind of upgrade material. There's all sorts of shit. But I really don't feel like fighting the current final boss of the top level and hitting a come back later. And when you beat Kronos the first time, you get like an early access splash screen that's like, hey man, wow, I hope you're enjoying Hades. It's not done, yo. It's not done. Can't find Zagreus in the game.
Sure.
Can't find him.
Sure. Maybe he doesn't. We'll see.
I am torn between what I want. I either want a boss,
playable or fightable.
I want them to pull their whole thing in, or I want the God of Blood to give me a boon.
Like, I want, like, when Artemis showed up.
He's in there? Oh.
Showed up and was standing on the field, I was like,
that was weird.
Hey, you're here? Right? That's awesome. So, as long as he can get an in-game, model standing there, like, what's up? That'd be very cool. But we'll have to see. Of course, Hades 1, there was updates that like the Nyx update, like I said, was one that introduced that entire character who was not there at all, earlier on. Like there's massive changes that come down the line. So playing too much too soon is gonna backfire.
There's there's one character. So every now and then you run into a character and their art is not the placeholder, but it's also not finished. So it's like a rough sketch, like talking to you. But like the saddest one is one of the NPCs in one of the areas is Narcissus, and they have placeholder art. So you don't know what he looks like.
They need time to work. Narcissus has to be.
I don't want to do 10 runs and fucking see.
Narcissus needs to be the most perfect artwork. It has to be like next level. Yeah.
But it is really funny that the guy doing Narcissus's voice is doing a Nicolas Cage impression.
Okay, sure. Yeah, Karen has been placeholder art for so long and then finally got a full character only to drop back to placeholder art now.
It's super weird.
I mean, the indication clearly is like we're not recycling any art, right?
No, it's all brand new. Like some of them I don't prefer as much as the other ones. I saw some people don't like Artemis's quite as much.
Okay. Artemis is a slight downgrade, but it's so slight.
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. Poseidon is an upgrade for sure.
Oh, new Poseidon
looks incredible. It just Zeus. The problem is actually like he looks like some of his body looks like unshaded in some areas, and Anyway, it's like that's the one where it's the most clear. But for the rest, I'd say it's mostly a clear upgrade. All right,
the game is like a very significant improvement, but it's not done. And oh man, unlock those torches. I want to hear how you feel about those torches because they are shit.
Again, it depends on. I'm gonna have to put hit the brakes at some point, and when I feel it, I'll just stop. So I don't know where that's gonna be right now. Shit, I was just gonna say something. Oh yeah, one other thing about it that is a minor little gripe, but I'll say the theme remix is great, but man, do I miss that little bass, right? So much of Hades 1 soundtrack had the little just bass, like running through Asphodel, just slapping, and and you have the deep hit on the title screen, and now it's a lot more like high drum pitched, and like it doesn't have that low hit to it. I wish it did. But anyway, the synth is fine. We'll hear what the rest of it sounds like.
There's Kronos' theme is the Hades theme, just straight up, but with tons of like synth and electronic on it.
Okay.
Which I interpret to mean like he's the god of time. Why would his musical style necessarily even fit the game that he is in?
Okay.
I really like it, but yeah.
Yeah.
For me, my biggest takeaway of Hades 2 is, oh, thank God I don't have to play Elysium anymore.
Ow.
I really don't like that zone a lot.
Okay. I just got used to the game being like, fuck you, it's hard. That's it. Deal. And get a like kind of like any other roguelike, get a build that's broken and this shouldn't be a problem, you know?
I also think there's a balancing pass thing going on with Hades because Hades 2 because some of the bosses have crazy amounts of HP. The third boss in particular has a fucking stupid amounts of HP. Like has way more than Kronos.
Okay.
And I'm like, why?
There are times when it feels like when you're fighting um God damn it, the Elysium, the Minotaur and the duo,
Asterius and Theseus.
Theseus, yeah, and the is it Theseus?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
Theseus.
anyway, there are times when it feels like they take forever to kill. Like sometimes they melt and sometimes they don't, and I think there are times when the screen pollution of shit that you're dropping and blowing up is so large and obscures the fact that they're shielded, you know, and they're like that they're alternating between like being invulnerable in some states or so. But some of those fights took a really long time, and other times they melt, and I don't know what determines that.
So like I complain about Elysium because of all the shield guys, and then I get to the boss, which is Theseus and Asterius, and it's like, oh great, I'm so fucking happy that I have to bait out Theseus's attacks every time to hit him because he's got the fucking shield up like damn near permanently. I have not encountered, like, God, I can't even think of one shielded enemy in Hades 2 off the top of my fucking head. Like that whole idea behind the roster just sucks so much shit.
So like what ended up melting shielded dudes in one of the runs I did was Daedalus Hammer on the rail to get the grenade launch mortar for triple fire. So it was like you know, and it just like you splash down behind them and they melt, you know. But again, it's just like hope you get a good build, you know. Anyway, Hades fucking incredible.